Everything you desire is within reach.
Stamp C3165.08.14.2346. Galaxy, Milky Way region, Alpha Centauri system, Atlas Gate, Transit Authority Zone. Location, Atlas Gate/Corporate Luxury Ring/Velvet Halo/VIP, Room 7 Transit. Standard ITS 1 venue. Status, Private Charity Afterparty/Frontier Relief Donor Event/Press Access, Restricted Record. Type, Event Security Reconstruction/Press Archive, Crosscheck/Recovered, Nightlife Intelligence Fragment. The door applauds before Valeria enters. That is how expensive rooms behave. They do not open. They announce permission. The gold seam splits down the center, soft light spills across the black floor, and 200 people turn their faces toward her like flowers trained by money instead of sun. Valeria waits half a second. Not from nerves, timing. Enter too fast and they think you are grateful. Enter too slow and they think you are afraid. Enter at the exact moment the applause begins to wonder whether it should continue, and the room belongs to you before your first step. She steps inside. The applause strengthens. Cameras lift. A senator smiles too widely near the champagne wall. A shipping heir forgets the name of the woman beside him. 3 security men glance at her hands, then at her face, then make the ordinary mistake of looking away. Valeria smiles. The white choker at her throat gives one quiet pulse. Purple, clean air, low weapon density, 34 active cameras, 9 concealed recorders, 4 private guards wearing civilian suits, 1 panic room behind the West Art wall, 2 exits pretending to be decorative panels, 1 man in VIP 7 whose pulse jumps when he sees her. There you are. Orric Dane raises his glass from the balcony. Public benefactor, private buyer, frontier relief patron. Man of the year in 3 magazines that sell virtue to people who have never missed a meal. He mouths something from above. Valeria reads it without effort. Beautiful. She lets the smile stay. Men like Dane always start there, with the surface, with the thing they think they understand. Beauty makes them lazy. Fame makes them greedy. Access makes them careless. That is why rooms like this invite her. That is why rooms like this die. The host crosses the floor toward her with both hands open. Valeria Sorne, he says, warm enough for cameras. You honor us. No, she says softly. The host blinks. Her smile deepens by 1 perfect degree. I decorate you. The host laughs because he thinks it is a joke. The room laughs because he does. Valeria lets them. Above, in VIP room 7, Orric Dane's smile fades. Good. He is listening now. The host offers his arm. His name is Pell Ashworth, event director, courtesy house affiliate. Not senior enough to be frightened yet, but polished enough to know where bodies are hidden after the guests go home. He smells like citrus, new money, and fear hidden under cologne. We have your green room prepared, Pell says. Private refreshment, wardrobe support, full acoustic privacy, no unauthorized media. Acoustic privacy, Valeria repeats. For your comfort. For yours. His laugh arrives late this time. The choker pulses once. Lie response, surface anxiety, elevated perspiration. Right cuff weight inconsistent. Microdrive concealed. Valeria lowers her eyes to his sleeve. Pell notices. A tiny failure. A man who believes he is clean does not check what he is hiding. Walk me through the room first, she says. Of course. He turns them toward the main floor. Velvet Halo is built like a confession booth pretending to be a nightclub. 3 tiers, black glass, gold seams, purple uplights rising from under the floor in slow waves. Every table has a view of the stage. Every private balcony has a view of the tables. Every camera has a view of everyone pretending not to be watched. The lower floor is for press-approved donors, mid-tier sponsors, station celebrities, and people rich enough to buy proximity, but not silence. The second tier is for major donors. The third tier is where the private rooms sit behind smoked glass and biometric doors. That is where the real event lives. Public charity below, private inventory above. On the main stage, a holographic relief banner spins slowly above the band pit. Frontier breathes because we remember. Valeria reads it once and almost smiles for real. Frontier donors love the word remember. It sounds cleaner than supply, cheaper than repair, kinder than debt. A waiter passes with champagne. Valeria does not take one. Pell notices that too. Nothing to drink. Later. We had a bottle brought in for you. Whitethorn Reserve, private donor gift. From who? An admirer. Name? Pell's smile becomes administrative. The note requested discretion. Then the bottle can enjoy itself alone. They pass under a hanging sculpture made of silver birds suspended on invisible threads. The birds rotate slowly above the crowd, wings open, beaks pointed down. Decorative, not decorative. Valeria counts 12. Each bird carries a pinhole lens. 4 carry audio. 2 carry chemical sensors. 1 is transmitting somewhere outside venue control. Juno will love that. She touches the ring on her right hand once. Not nervous. Signal. Across the room at the service bar, a bartender with silver at his temples wipes the same clean glass for the 3rd time. Sable Kaur sees the gesture. He does not look at her. Good. Sable is still alive because he understands that attention is a currency, and sometimes the only safe thing to do is be poor. Valeria lets Pell lead her past the donor wall. Names appear in gold. Orric Dane is at the top. Of course he is. Dane Continuity, Trust Platinum Frontier, Relief, Patron Food /Filter /Medical Evacuation /Child Priority. Child Priority, there it is. The pretty phrase, the one Rhea found buried in the leaked invitation packet. Valeria looks up at VIP 7. Dane is still watching her. A woman stands beside him. Young, blonde, beautiful in the unfinished way of people still deciding which parts of themselves are negotiable. Leora Sen, rising performer, new courtesy house signing. Officially, she is here for exposure. Unofficially, she is here because someone wants Valeria to see her. Same height range, different colouring, similar camera angles in the press kit, same shoulder training, same smile discipline. Almost the same stage entrance timing. Not coincidence. Valeria's choker warms against her throat. For a moment the room becomes quieter, not actually. The music still moves. Glass still rings. Donors still laugh. Cameras still breathe through their hidden lenses. But inside Valeria, something old opens one eye. Pell follows her gaze. Miss Sen is very talented, he says. She is very young. She is 22. That is not an answer. Pell's smile tightens. Courtesy House is proud to support emerging talent. I'm sure it is. Leora laughs at something Dane says. She places one hand lightly against her own throat as she laughs. No choker. Not yet. Valeria looks away before the anger shows. Anger is useful only when leashed. Everything else is amateur work. Pell guides her toward the west corridor. 2 guards stand at the entrance. Both wear black suits. Both have the clean posture of men who call themselves security because mercenary looks bad on a charity invoice. The taller one checks Pell's badge. He does not check Valeria's. That is the second mistake. The first was inviting her. The west corridor is darker than the main room. Less gold. More black glass. The music dulls behind acoustic baffles until only the bass remains, soft and physical, like a second pulse under the floor. Private walls display rotating images from frontier colonies. Children in clean clinic beds. Workers smiling near oxygen tanks. A mother holding a ration pack. A mechanic waving beside a repaired pressure door. All of them lit too well. All of them probably real enough to be legal. That is the trick. The best lies do not invent suffering. They license it, Pell stops outside her green room. The door recognizes him and turns white. Valeria Sorne, performance, hold authorized personnel only. Your team has been cleared, Pell says. My team clears itself. Of course. He opens the door. The room beyond is beautiful in the way cages can be beautiful if the builder has money. Soft black seating, private mirror wall, wardrobe rack, vanity table, fruit tray, filtered water. 2 bottles of Whitethorn Reserve sitting in an ice cradle like twin offerings. A single white rose rests on top of a sealed envelope. Valeria does not enter. Pell pauses halfway through the doorway. Is there a problem? There are 2 bottles? Yes. You said a bottle. A courtesy addition? No. Miss Sorne, the first bottle is a gift. The second is insurance. Pell's face holds. Barely. Valeria steps inside. The room scans her and accepts the lie of her presence. She crosses to the ice cradle. The choker pulses. Glass safe. Liquid unsafe. Foreign compound detected. Compound family archived. Her fingers stop half an inch above the bottle. Archived. That is not a poison warning. That is memory. Her mouth does not change. Her breathing does. Once. Small enough that Pell misses it. Large enough that the choker records it. The compound has no public name. Programs like the one that made her did not name things for doctors. They named them for handlers. Mercy Quiet. A compliance sedative. Old formula. Cruel formula. Designed to soften resistance without leaving bruises. Designed to make refusal feel embarrassing. Designed to let victims wake with gaps and shame and no clean wound to show anyone. Valeria looks at the bottle, then at the rose, then at the envelope. Pell says, "Is the room acceptable?" She picks up the envelope. The paper is thick, expensive, real, no digital trace if you are careless. A name is written on the front in black ink. Not Valeria, not Velvet. V09. For the first time all night, Pell sees something in her face and understands that the room has changed owners. He takes one step back. Valeria opens the envelope. Inside is a single card. Welcome home. No signature, no threat, no need. Behind her, the door closes. Pell did not close it. The room did. The white panel turns red. Authorized privacy lock engaged. Pell stares at the panel. That should not... Valeria turns. Pell. He swallows. Yes? Who gave you the bottle? I don't know. That is almost true. The choker confirms it with a soft blue flicker. Partial truth. Knowledge withheld by compartment. Courier unknown. Instruction source known. Valeria sets the card down. Who told you to put it in my room? Pell's mouth opens. Nothing comes out. Not silence. Training. Courtesy house training is elegant. It does not make people brave. It makes fear organized. He reaches for his cuff. Valeria is already there. She crosses the space between them without rushing. One hand takes his wrist. The other slides under the cuff and removes the microdrive before his thumb can crack the emergency wipe. Pell gasps. Not from pain. From surprise. They always think speed looks violent. It does not. Good speed looks like the room edited itself. Valeria holds the microdrive between 2 fingers. Small? Pell says nothing. She turns the drive toward the vanity light. Very small for a man gambling with my patients. His eyes flick to the mirror wall. Wrong direction. Valeria smiles. So that's where the witness is. Pell goes pale. She turns toward the mirror. It reflects her perfectly. Purple top, white choker, dark hair, soft mouth, sharp eyes, a woman built to be watched. She steps close enough for the glass to fog from her breath. Whoever is behind the mirror, she says, you have 10 seconds to become useful. No response, Pell whispers. You shouldn't do that. 7. The privacy walls are protected. 5. You don't understand who owns this venue. 3. The mirror flickers. For a half second, the reflection drops. Behind the glass stands a narrow observation room. 1 chair, One console and one woman, young, dark-skinned, hair braided close to the scalp. Courtesy house earpiece, hands shaking above the control board. Not handler, tech, scared tech. Valeria lifts one eyebrow. The woman touches a switch. The mirror unlocks. A seam opens down the side. Pell closes his eyes. The tech steps out with both hands visible. Name, Valeria says. Maeli Dans. Are you armed? No. Are you recording? Yes. Are you still transmitting? Miley looks at Pell. Valeria does not. Look at me. Miley does. Are you still transmitting? Yes. Where? I don't know the endpoint. Who does? No one here. That feels true. Valeria holds up the microdrive. What is this? Miley's eyes move to it and widen. Do not plug that into anything you own. Why? It is not storage. What is it? A handshake. Pell says, Maeli. Valeria moves one finger. The ring on her hand opens with a tiny click. A needle no longer than an eyelash slides from beneath the gemstone. Pell stops breathing. Valeria does not point it at him. She does not need to. Miley answers quickly. It identifies compatible systems. Chokers, collars, behavioral locks. Old asset hardware. Anything still listening? Valeria looks down at the drive. The room seems colder. Old asset hardware. Miley nods once. I didn't know it was for you. That is also almost true. Valeria can hear the lie hiding in the shape of the sentence. You knew it was for someone like me. Miley's eyes wet. Yes. Pell says, this is above both of us. That part, Valeria says, I believe. The door panel flashes. Someone outside enters an override. Authorized access request via IP7, Orric Dane. Valeria looks at the panel, then at Pell, then at Maeli. The request flashes again. VIP 7 access, priority, patron courtesy override. Orric Dane's voice comes through the intercom, warm and amused. Miss Sorne, I hope we haven't startled you. Valeria walks to the ice cradle and picks up the poisoned bottle. No, she says. She looks at the rose, at the card, at the microdrive, at Miley, who is shaking now. At Pell, who has started to understand that tonight will not be solved by policy. Valeria presses the intercom. You brought an old gift? Dane chuckles. I brought an old courtesy. There it is. Courtesy. House language. Not slowly. It leaves her face like a light cut from a room. Miley steps back without meaning to. Pell does the same. Dane continues. I thought we might speak privately before your performance. About what? Your future. Valeria looks at the door. Beyond it stands a man who has never had to force an entrance because the world has opened for him his entire life. A patron, a buyer, a collector of talented people, desperate people, beautiful people, useful people. He thinks the poisoned bottle is leverage. He thinks the old designation is control. He thinks the choker is still a door he can unlock. He thinks Valeria Sorne came to sing. Open the door, she says. Pell stares at her. Miley whispers, Don't. Valeria turns to her. Miley's voice breaks, but she keeps going. If he came down himself, there are no cameras in the corridor anymore. Not the venue cameras, not ours. He only does that when he already has permission. From who? Miley does not answer. The door unlocks. Orric Dane enters alone. That is how powerful men prefer to appear when they are surrounded by systems. He is in his late 50s, silver-haired, clean-faced, dressed in a midnight suit with a relief pin on the lapel. Child priority. Medical mercy. Frontier breathes. Because we remember. The pin catches the purple light. He looks first at Valeria, then the bottle in her hand, then Pell, then Miley. His expression does not change, not much. Miley, he says almost kindly, you were told to remain behind glass. Miley lowers her eyes. Valeria says, look at him. Miley freezes. Dane smiles. That is unnecessary. Valeria keeps her gaze on Miley. Look at him. Slowly, Miley raises her eyes. Dane's smile thins. Good. Small disobediences matter. They are how locked rooms begin to crack. Dane turns back to Valeria. You always had a talent for making staff feel brave. You always had a talent for calling prisoners staff. Pell flinches. Dane does not. He studies Valeria with the quiet pleasure of a man examining art he believes was stolen from his house. You kept the choker. I improved it. I can see that. No, Valeria says, you can't. For the first time, Dane's eyes sharpen. There is the real man. Not donor, not patron, not smiling article photograph. Buyer. You should be careful, he says. Some of us remember what that device was before you turned it into jewelry. Valeria lifts the poisoned bottle slightly. Some of us remember what this was before you turned it into hospitality. Dane sighs, almost disappointed. Mercy quiet was never meant to hurt you. No, it was meant to make hurting me easier. The sentence lands. Pell looks at the floor. Miley closes her eyes. Dane's face remains calm, but his pulse changes. The choker catches it. Anger, recognition, possessive stress response, threat probability rising. Your performance is in 12 minutes, Dane says. There is still time for this to remain elegant. Valeria laughs once, soft, not amused. Elegant is what people like you call violence when the carpet is expensive. Dane glances at Pell. Pell straightens automatically. Miss Sorne has been under pressure, Dane says. Have security escort her medical staff in. Medical staff. Valeria feels the room tilt around the phrase. Not physically, historically. White rooms, soft voices, hands that never looked like fists. A handler telling her not to make this difficult. A mirror she could not see through. A collar that warmed before commands. Her own voice younger, asking what she had done wrong. Nothing, they told her. That was the answer. Nothing. Obedience did not require guilt, only access. The choker heats. Old code wakes under the new code. Not command. Probe. The microdrive between her fingers vibrates once. Handshake request active. Miley sees it. Her eyes widen. Do not let it finish. Valeria looks at the drive. Dane smiles. Too soon. You were always clever, he says, but clever things still have architecture. The choker pulses again. White, not purple. White. For 1 second, the room becomes a memory with walls. Valeria cannot move. Pell whispers, What did you do? Dane ignores him. He steps closer. There we are, he says gently. No need for fear. No need for embarrassment. We are all friends in this room. Miley backs toward the console. Dane says without looking at her, Stop! She stops. Not because she wants to, because Pell catches her arm. Not hard. Enough. Valeria hears the command before she feels it. Not in words, in posture, lower shoulders and soften hands. Relax jaw. Accept guidance. It moves through the choker like a ghost wearing her own nervous system. Her fingers loosen around the bottle. Dane watches with open satisfaction now. That device was not cruelty, he says. It was continuity. You were expensive. Unstable assets must be recoverable. Valeria's hand trembles. The bottle slips lower. You made a remarkable life with what we gave you, Dane continues. No one wants to take that away. Lie. The choker does not say it. She does. Inside. Small, bright, lie. Dane reaches for the bottle. Let me help. Valeria's fingers open. The bottle falls. Dane's hand drops to catch it. That is when she moves, not against the command. With it. Relax jaw. Lower shoulders, soften hands. Accept guidance. She lets the old program have the body it expected, then uses the part it never understood. Timing. The bottle drops past Dane's hand. Her softened fingers brush his wrist. The ring needle opens. One touch, one sting. Dane inhales. His eyes snap to hers. Valeria catches the bottle with her other hand before it hits the floor. No spill, no sound. The old command inside the choker stutters. Dane takes one step back. What did you do? Valeria's mouth is still difficult to move, so she smiles. Small, ugly, real. Improved it. Dane looks at his wrist. A single red dot wells beneath his cuff. Pell releases Miley. Maeli runs to the console. Dane says, "Stop her." No one moves. He tries again. Pell. Pell looks at Valeria, then at Dane, then at the poisoned bottle in Valeria's hand. He has spent years learning which power in a room mattered most. Tonight, for the first time, he is unsure. That saves his life. Miley reaches the console and slams her palm against the board. The privacy lock drops. Venue cameras return. Audio reconnects. 34 active cameras become 39. The hidden silver birds overhead swivel toward the green room corridor. Sable's voice comes through Valeria's earpiece, calm as poured glass. Room is visible again. Main floor feed delayed 6 seconds. Rear has press mirrors. Juno says your left boot knife is clear if you need it. Valeria exhales. The choker flashes purple. Old command rejected. Handshake reversed. Foreign access mapped. Source trace incomplete. Local carrier identified. Orric Dane. Dane reads enough of her face to understand. No, he says. Valeria lifts the microdrive. Yes. The drive is no longer transmitting into her choker. Her choker is transmitting into it. Dane turns toward the door. Valeria speaks softly. Do not run. He stops. Not because of control. Because he understands cameras have returned. Because downstairs the event still waits for her song. Because a man like Orric Dane would rather be stabbed in private than embarrassed in public. Valeria steps close enough for him to smell the poison he brought her. What did you expect would happen? She asks. Dane looks at her. For a moment, the donor mask breaks. Under it is not a monster with fangs, just a man. That is worse. A man who chose this. A man who dressed cruelty properly and called it patronage. We expected you to come home, he says. Valeria tilts her head. The courtesy house is not my home. It made you. No, she leans closer. It taught me where to cut. Dane's breathing changes. The ring toxin is not lethal. Not yet. Juno calls it honest violet. An ugly little compound that does one useful thing. It makes fear sweat through manners. Dane's forehead shines. His hands shake once, then still. Here is what happens now, Valeria says. You will return to VIP7. No. You will smile for every camera. No. You will send every message you would have sent if you believed I was contained. Dane's eyes narrow. Why would I do that? Valeria holds up the microdrive. Because this is still talking to your people. He says nothing. Because they think it worked. His silence becomes answer. Because if they know it failed, they close doors before I see who owns the keys. Dane looks toward the corridor. Behind him, Pell stands very still. Miley is crying silently at the console. Not from fear now. From aftermath. There is always aftermath when a room changes shape around you. Valeria lowers her voice. And, because if you refuse, I open the bottle on the main stage and tell the room what Mercy Quiet was designed to do. Dane's face goes grey. There it is. Not guilt. Reputation. The only organ men like him truly protect. You would destroy yourself, he says. Valeria smiles. No, I would become inconvenient. The difference frightens him more. From the main floor, the host's announcement rolls through the venue speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, honoured patrons, distinguished guests, Velvet Halo is proud to welcome tonight's voice of remembrance, generosity and frontier hope, Valeria Sorne. Applause rises. The room outside calls for her. The door waits. Valeria steps back. Dane swallows. What did you put in me? Permission. For what? To be useful. Pell makes a small sound. Almost a laugh, almost a sob. Dane looks at Valeria like he might kill her. He cannot. Not here. Not with the cameras awake. Not with the microdrive still open. Not with his own people waiting to hear what happens next. Valeria gestures toward the door. VIP 7, Orric. He does not move. Her expression cools. Do not make me ask like a handler. That reaches him. He turns and walks out. Pell follows after a moment, not because Dane tells him to, but because he understands the night has become evidence and he does not want to be left alone with the woman who noticed first. Miley remains. Valeria looks at her. You have two choices. Miley wipes her face quickly. I know. No, Valeria says. You don't. That is the gift. Miley looks confused. Valeria takes the card from the vanity and places it beside the console. Welcome home. Choice 1, Valeria says. You stay here. You let Courtesy House decide what your fear is worth. You tell them I threatened you. They may believe it. Miley's throat moves. Choice 2? You walk to the service bar. You ask Sable for black water with lime. He will take you out through the cellar lift. You give him everything you know, not what you think matters. Everything. Miley stares. Why would you help me? Valeria almost says because no one helped me fast enough. She does not. Some truths are too expensive to spend in green rooms. Instead, she says, because you opened the mirror. Miley breaks then. Only for a second, a small collapse of the face. Then she gathers herself. What happens to you? Valeria turns toward the stage corridor. The applause outside has become rhythmic, hungry, expectant, owned by her name. What always happens? She touches the choker. It pulses purple beneath her fingers. I perform. The stage corridor opens. Light spills across her boots. From the main floor, 200 people cheer because they think they are about to hear a song. Valeria walks toward them with poison in one hand, a stolen handshake in the other, and Orric Dane climbing the stairs to VIP 7 with the posture of a man who has just realized the beautiful thing he tried to reclaim has followed him home as a knife. The crowd sees her and rises. Every camera turns. Every donor smiles. Every hidden recorder waits. Valeria steps onto the stage. The music begins. Above her, the charity banner turns slowly in the purple light. Frontier breathes because we remember. Valeria looks up at VIP 7. Dane sits behind the smoked glass, pale but composed. Good. Still useful. Beside him, Leora Sen watches Valeria with wide eyes. Not admiration now. Recognition. Not full. Not yet. Enough. Valeria lifts the microphone. The room quiets so fast it feels like obedience. She smiles at them all. The patrons, the cameras, the buyers, the staff, the frightened, the guilty, the invited monsters wearing clean suits under beautiful lights. Then she sings the first note. Soft, low, perfect. And under the cover of her voice, Orric Dane's ring begins transmitting every private message he receives. By the second verse, Courtesy House answers. By the third, Valeria has names. By the final chorus, 6 donors in the room understand that someone upstairs has gone very wrong. They do not run. Running would look guilty. They clap instead. Valeria sings to them like mercy and watches the knife go in.
The world is yours. Take it.